Welcome to Literally Books, the podcast where we read literally anything because it should not be a saga to find your next favorite read. My name is Magda.
And I'm Lindsay.
And today we have our very serious episode, our second annual Thankful Awards.
Dun, 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 dun,
Why is it the Olympic song?
I don't know. That was the first song that came to mind. I don't know what the song for award shows are.
I don't know either.
We're the Olympians of podcasting.
Yeah, we are. Reading books is our sports. That's
it is our
what
sport.
It is. So today we are going to be celebrating our end of year episode by wrapping up some of our favorite reads, and we're going to be giving out some awards to each category, which we'll be talking about here shortly. But before we get started, Lindsay, what have you been reading?
Okay, I have a really crazy story for you, and I actually have to I'm going to double check a piece of information for you because I was like so freaked out by what happened.
Ooh.
So I read The Mighty Red by Louise Erdrich. And it's a book about a Midwestern farming town and these teens in that town. And I'm from the Midwest, and I was like, man, she like really captured that feeling of being in the Midwest, like the way that people talk, the way that the communities interact. Like I was like, I know these parents, I know these kids, this is exactly how I grew up. I was like, nailed it. And so I was looking up Louise Erdrich, and I was like, oh, okay, she's from Minnesota. Like, that makes so much sense. And then I saw somewhere that she has a bookstore in Minneapolis.
Oh, no way.
Yes, and the name of the bookstore, which is what I was just looking up, is called Birch Bark. And I was like, why do I recognize that name? And I go to my photos, and I was like, holy crap. I went to this bookstore the day that my sister got married and took a picture of it because her reception was next door.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's
I was
so
like,
funny.
Wasn't that a small world? I was like, this is so weird. Like, it was like a full circle moment where I was like, intuitively, I was like, I know I've seen this bookstore. I know I've been there. And I went to my phone and I was like, I have a picture of it. I took video of it so that I could send you.
I think you sent me a picture of this because it's like in a corner with like,
yes.
Right? Yes,
and
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Because she's Native American, and so she has like Native American authors and things like that. And I was like, I know I went to this bookstore. Anyway, isn't that so weird?
That's so funny. And the book was amazing and you loved it.
I really loved the book. It was really, really good. It's not for it's a very character-driven book, but it just felt so authentic. I don't know. I loved it.
Oh, yay.
Anyway, that's my
okay,
word
that
story
is
of
a
the day.
funny story.
And I have one other book news to tell you, which is that I'm not far into this at all, but I'm still going to tell you about it. I started The Perfect Marriage.
Lindsay, welcome to the journey of hatred.
Hate them so much. Like, my hatred of these characters is exactly what you described. I was like, Magda, sometimes we don't like the same people. We feel differently about Emily Henry. I freaking hate these characters.
There are no good redemption qualities
No.
at all for any of these people. But the good news is book 2 is out there and that does help a little bit.
Nothing has happened yet. And I'm like, I hope they both die. I don't even care. I just hate them. Anyway.
Oh my God. Lindsay, that is shocking breaking news. And we're going to be talking about Geneva here in a little bit too.
I know.
So
I'm so sorry. She's a great writer. But God, I hate these characters.
The feeling that she provokes in me as I read her, I'm like, Geneva, you're a masterful person because
Correct.
I don't experience this type of rage when I read.
Yes.
She's the only person that has been able to convey those feelings.
Correct. It is rage. It is absolutely right. You were not lying. You sold that exactly as you should have. I was like, I hate this. I hate her. I hate him.
You have to commit and go to book 2 though, because we have to talk about this.
Yes.
I've been talking to our friend Lauren about it a couple of times, and we're like, we're ready for book 3.
I don't know. I'm so nervous. Anyway, what are you reading?
We still have some time. So the opposite
Watching
of
you
that,
navigate that dress
God.
cross-legged. We dressed up for you all because naturally you can't see that.
It's an award show. I mean, guys, this is a very serious business.
Magda's wearing a fur, but also sitting cross-legged because that's the kind of women we are.
That's right. I'm wearing a long black dress from Forever 21, so it's stretchy.
And a $10 tiara, and she's never looked more like herself.
Half of this are from actual Halloween costume parties.
And I look like a mother of the bride. Anyway, what are you reading?
Okay, the opposite of rage, which is warm, cozy, nice little reads. I finished reading Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. Oh, Lindsay, it was exactly what I needed. It is a Christmas Carol retelling. It has to deal with this ghost of Christmas past that comes and visit this woman who supposedly she needs to change her ways because if she doesn't, she might not have a really good future and might be damned in hell for all eternity, right? But it turns out that some things change, and that's not really what the plot of the book is about. So that's kind of how the premise starts, and it just kind of takes you in this journey about soulmates, kind of, in a way, and like the things that we're willing to do to like traverse time to be able to find our better half. And it was just beautiful, cozy book. I can kind of see where this potentially can become a series with like some like a little bit of supernatural activities with like the Grim Reaper and other characters like that. So I can kind of see that BK Borison is just like dropping some hints. At least that's what I'm hoping and I'm manifesting, because she did such a good job writing this type of magical story, and I loved it. It was exactly what I needed after coming out of my Adam Silvera deep dives, which just crushed my soul in the best way possible. I love those books, guys, but I needed something light and easy, and this truly delivered. It's a nice little cozy story. It'll kind of put you in the holiday mood. It was just perfect. It was what I needed. I recommend it. BK Borison. We both love First Time Caller. We can't wait for Now Back to You that comes out in February. So her writing has just come such a long way, because I read some of her earlier work and I was just like, it's okay. This one's, oh my God, like I love when you kind of get to see like authors improving on their craft and how, I don't know, like, I mean, like the books were good, like the earlier ones, but this is just like next level writing, and the emotions that she conveys as she's writing. Oh, my favorite thing.
It's so funny too, because I feel like when you first introduced me to First Time Caller and you said, oh, it's sort of based on Sleepless in Seattle, I was super hesitant to read it because I love Sleepless in Seattle, and I was like, I don't know if this is a premise that can be improved upon, and I don't want to see someone just copy this. But she does a really good job of changing things that feel meaningful, and you can see where the idea came from, but it's not a direct copy. She does that really well.
Yeah, exactly. And the one that is coming out in February is based on When Harry Met Sally, which...
One of my all-time favorite movies.
Same. One of my favorite romantic comedy movies. Like, I love that movie. That's my comfort go-to movie. So, but I have faith. I have hope that she's going to do a good job with it. I'm so excited. And some people have read the arcs and everybody's like loving it. So I really hope it's good.
Okay, I'm so excited.
All right. You want to take a little bit of a break?
Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second annual Thankful Awards.
Woo!
Pause for applause. Pause for applause. Yeah.
Yes.
Magda and I will be your humble MCs this evening. We'll also be giving out the awards. We'll also be accepting the awards on behalf of the illustrious people and books we'll be talking about today.
The authors couldn't be with us today, but it's a great honor to be able to accept this award.
They all wanted to be here.
They did. They did.
They sent us their warm regards.
Yes.
They offered to send us arcs of their books from Here and Evermore.
Correct. They wished us some good health.
Right.
So we're not coughing in every episode.
Exactly. Yes.
Very thoughtful authors, honestly.
So thoughtful. We really appreciate their warm support.
We do. We do. There is going to be a speech after each award. I'm kidding. Can you imagine?
I was born on a cold morning in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
There will
years
be
ago.
play out music.
I know.
After that first sentence. Just kidding.
Magda's playing me out right now.
But we're excited. I think we are making this a yearly tradition where it's a way to kind of wrap us up for the entire year. We read and discovered some new authors, and we are just excited to kind of wrap it up nicely and give out some honors, because it's been an incredible year for us.
I completely agree. There's so much to talk about, and I am looking forward to reminiscing.
Me too. All right, we want to start kind of with our first award of the night. This is my clap.
I'll put in stuff. Yes.
Okay, the category is character we're most thankful to have met. Lindsay?
In a stunning turn of events for both of us, this is a tied category.
Yes.
A lot of these are going to be tied categories, y'all, because this is our award show and we can do whatever the hell we want.
We make our own rules.
We make our own rules. And it's really tough because like I slotted people into some categories so that I could leave the books for other categories. So I didn't just have the same. I love everyone and everything I read this year for the most part.
I know. When I was going through my list of everything that I've read, I feel so lucky of like the incredible stories that I got to read, because and truly in one way or another they touch my soul. Even from like ones that I was just like, oh, I don't know how I feel about it. When I was reminiscing about it as we were putting together the list, I'm like, I remember this part and it was kind of great and I loved it. So I don't know. I feel like really
Came to
fortunate
you at the right time.
that
Yeah.
we're doing this. Yeah. So who is the
Okay.
character that you're most thankful to have met?
There's two. One, Margot from Margot's Got Money Troubles. I actually started re-listening to the audiobook of this recently, and I was like, this book is so freaking good.
Yes, it is.
Margot is like my mom. Margot is a young mother. My mother was a young mother. And it's basically just about her being like, yeah, this was a crazy, stupid decision. And I'm probably going to make more crazy, stupid decisions. And you're just rooting for her so hard as she's doing it and watching her persevere. I love her.
This is an adaptation that we will definitely be watching next year.
Cannot wait.
Is Elle Fanning is going to be playing Margot, and I'm so excited because I think in my eyes, perfect casting.
Perfect.
She also narrates the audiobook, which she did an amazing, incredible job with that. So we will be covering this episode, this movie and book in the future. Well, it's
Yes.
a series, I think, but whatever. We'll be covering
It doesn't matter what it is. We'll be watching
We'll
every
be
second
watching
of it,
it.
every
We want
frame.
it.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and then I had to do two because there's too many women on this list that like touch my heart. And the other one is Joan from Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And it's just because I love people who are it's so rare to find a character who's just good in their soul. Everything about Joan is just loving and giving and positive and wants to see the best in people. And it's a trait that I don't understand whatsoever.
That is not true. She is a perfect human. Like Lindsay, it is that person. You do
No.
care about people. You may put the facade that you don't, but you are a softie at your heart.
Stop it.
Yes, you are. And I also love that you're wearing blue, which represents atmosphere so well. So I
Yes.
think that was done on purpose.
Yes, I agree. I went outside of my color comfort zone, but I love Joan, and she's not annoying. I also think that's so hard to have a good character, like a sweet character who's just not like, you're not like, ugh, I don't want to meet this person. They're just like, they're annoying. You know, like Mateo in...
They both die at the end.
Yes, it's sort of like that where you're just like, oh, I just love you. Anyway,
None of his
those are my two.
characters.
Maybe Mateo's on my list. We're adding candidates as we're going along.
We have our bench going.
Who is on your list?
Okay, on my list, I kind of needed to put him on, and it's going to be Bartholomew from The Night and the Moth
Good.
by Rachel Gillig. You and I both know that we love a good side character that is snarky, honest, and is going to orient the story in a way that needs to be told. And he is this character for us. He was our favorite character from this book, honestly, because he just brings so much fresh air, and he's the type of character that he is so important and true to the story, and you're wanting to tell the main character, like, listen to him, lady, what is wrong with you? He was just perfect. He was funny, he was honest, he was charismatic, and he offered a multitude of like storytelling that was so crucial to the story that allowed the plot to move forward. And he was just adorable at the same time. He gave us everything that we needed in this story, and I loved him.
You know what's so crazy about Bartholomew too is like he is a snarky side character, but why Rachel Gillig is so amazing is that his origin story is devastating.
It is.
And important to the book.
Exactly.
Go read the book to find out what I mean by that. But like that is such a layer of being like, damn, he's not just like a silly little side character. He's like you're exactly what you're saying. He's critical to orienting the story.
And I would argue potentially, I don't want to say like the main character, but like it's because of him that the story is like he's truly like the origin of the whole story.
Oh, you're so right. Such a good choice.
So good.
Now
so
I'm like,
good.
no, let's change it. We love everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no. And then this one, and I read this book really early on, but it's a character that I think about almost on a weekly basis, and it's going to be Martha Ballard from The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. You know, she is a midwife in the 1700s, which is at a time that a lot, women don't have power, but because she is a midwife, which is such an important role, and she's such a big part of her community, she is central to this town. She has power that we can only imagine to have potentially for a woman in the 1700s, that she stands up for her women, for her babies, to try to make sure that they're safe. And it is such a great way how Ariel Lawhon kind of tells the story of navigating this politics when women don't have a lot of power, but she's able to utilize what she does have, which is a midwife, which is such a central part of a role that is needed in a town, and she's able to leverage that in a way to be able to protect a lot of the women. And also, this is based on a real life story. Martha Ballard is a real person who delivered over 1,000 babies without losing a single baby, which is unheard
Incredible.
of.
Yeah.
So I just love this story. I love the characters and how wholesome this was, but it's a wholesome story, but it does bring afloat the realities of living in the 1700s. It's not making light of that at all. And that's a central part of the story. And I just loved her. She's such a strong woman. And I don't think I wish I had her level of character of how strong and how sure of herself she was. And it also helped that she had an incredible family backing her up.
And
too.
a sweet husband who
Yes.
believed in her. And now it is cool to see yes, men supposedly have power until you have their heirs in your hands. And then suddenly they care deeply about what a woman can do to keep their wife and partner safe. So,
Exactly. One of the most satisfying endings in a book that I can remember. Love
so
that.
good.
Anyways, accepting this on behalf of Martha Ballard and Ariel Lawson.
Okay, next category, author we're most thankful to have discovered. So difficult, this category.
This one was so hard, but I think I'm going to start with Tracy Dion.
Of course.
We both read the 3 books earlier this year because there was a lot of hype around Oathbound, which was the 3rd book in the series, and we loved the entire Legendborn Cycle series.
Yep.
We were so obsessed with it that we did 4 full episodes covering these books because how much we love them. Her storytelling, especially how she explains the decision of leveraging Arthurian magic and taking this legend on her own and flipping it and using the characters in a way to tell the story about this young Black woman in Georgia, as she kind of identifies and understands that she is meant to carry so much power. I love the way that she integrated magic to be able to tell her story and be able to give her main character so much power. Oh, I just loved her.
It's just someone, exactly what you said. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I'm out of words to talk about for how much we love Tracy Dion and these stories.
Cannot wait for book 4. You know, I forgot to ask her. We were chatting with her when book 4 was going to come out. I'm sure she'll be like, no, girl, I just met you. I'm not going to tell you that.
She was like, I'm going to, because Magda and I got a chance to meet her. And she is just as amazing in real life as you hope she is. Just warm, generous, thoughtful, so freaking funny.
Oh my God, she's so smart.
So smart.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
Annoying. In the best way.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
But so great. So I'm so glad that we were introduced to her series earlier this year because that's one of my favorite series that we have read in a while, honestly. And then in the lighter side, Sarah Adams, I don't think that should be a surprise to anybody. She is a romance writer, but I just love the way that she writes warm hugs of books. Like this is the type of books that for me are my anti-slump books. Like if I feel like I'm going into a reading slump or nothing is catching my eye, I can grab one of her stories and it's going to suck me in and I'm going to love her characters. Yes, these are light-hearted stories. There's not like a whole lot of stakes in here, but you're still rooting for the characters as they're going through their different journeys. So I love that. Like my favorite one was from the When in Rome series, book 2, which is Practice Makes Perfect. I still love Annie. Like she's one of my favorites. It's one of the characters that I related to the most. And I don't know. It just makes me so happy when I read her.
Is Annie one of the sisters from?
Yes, she is one of the sisters.
Okay.
She is the baker.
The baker, that's
she's
right.
the one that has the bakery.
I read the first book in the series because you recommended it, and I loved it. It was
it's
cute.
just like a fun, I mean, it's not going to be, guys, it's not going to be like, it changed my life. No, it's just the books are going to do what it tells you to do, which is bring you a level of comfort, happiness, and giddiness as you're reading them.
Yes.
That is just going to make you a better human because you're just like a happy person
and
after
well
you finish
done.
reading
Like
them.
they're well written.
Yes.
On top. Yeah.
So I love it. So book 4 of the series comes out in January, which I'm so excited. Anyways, different spectrum, fantasy and romance. What about you?
Again, 2. We're gonna keep rolling with 2 because you know what?
It's our rules.
There's more love to give around.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so mine are authors that are early in their careers, and I'm excited to have found them because I can't wait to see what else they're going to do. The first one is Allie Gordon, who we interviewed on this podcast for her book, We Have Reached the End of Our Show. That book just is... I loved Allie so much. She's so smart. She's so funny. She's so talented. And that book was so well done.
That book altered my brain chemistry.
I know.
Like, it just altered the way that I think about things. And her premise of this book, which is pretty much, what if you found out the world was ending when you
We're
know
already dying.
You're already dying. Like, how does the idea work? And it is so genius. And the way that she takes this short story, it's incredible. I'm so glad that you put this book in here, because it was a wonderful interview, a wonderful story. And Allie is just so freaking smart.
She's so smart. Her characters are so specific and nuanced, and yet I recognize so much of their character. Just go read this book, y'all. It's so freaking good.
Yeah.
It's so freaking good. And it's her debut novel. It's crazy that this is the first thing that she's written. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then along the same line, a second novel that just like is my happy place, Layla Motley's The Girls Who Grow Big, which follows a group of teen mothers living in Florida. Layla Motley is quite young. I think she's 21 or 22, and this is her second book. She wrote her first book when I think she was 19. And when I tell you, I don't know how a 19-year-old or a 21-year-old writes these books. They're so well written. They're beautiful. They're about being young and wanting people to respect you, but like not fully knowing how to make good decisions. So good.
Maybe she has like an old soul.
Yeah.
Maybe she has like an old soul or something that
Yeah.
she's able to kind of just put out this awesome stories. Like, I do have like When the Girls Grew Big in my TBR. I cannot wait to read this. Like, you have hyped this up to me so much, and I've heard some of our other friends as well that they just love the storytelling here. I can't wait to read it.
So freaking good.
All right, so now we're moving on to our next category, and it's going to be adaptations we're most thankful for. And I think this one, we both have the same winner.
Released
Released
adaptation.
Released adaptation of this year, and that's going to be Mickey 17. And that is all based on Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton, a book that we both absolutely loved. Still one of my favorite interviews that we did this year as well. We had Edward Ashton on the pod. One of my most stressful interviews, because you know that he's so smart.
Yes.
And I wanted to make sure that we represented our podcast well, but he was amazing. We love chatting with him. I want to say weeks. I think we both did.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was definitely one of my favorite interviews, and just kind of getting to understand his level of insight as he's doing his storytelling for Mickey 7 was incredible. And getting to hear a little bit about the behind the scenes on how the negotiations happened for, selling your rights into a movie, which is kind of exciting. So, and the movie was fun. I really enjoyed it.
The movie it's a good adaptation because it's not exactly the same as the source material. But it's true to the director, and it felt like the big things in the book really came through. Like, you get to meet Nasha, who is the main character in the book and the love interest of Mickey. And I thought Nasha on screen was so well done. It's like, I know people had maybe it was a love-hate relationship with this movie, but I thought it was such a good nod to the book while being its own thing.
I completely agree. I think he did what he needed to do. And I think for us, having read the book, it offers us a level of insight too as we're going into the movie. So I think for both of us, we appreciated where Bong Joon-ho took the movie into that different path.
1000%.
So great. Rare adaptation.
Next category. Book we're most thankful to have finished.
Oh, this one it can be either good or bad. So it could be controversial, it could not be, but here we are. Which one is yours?
Mine was Everything is Tuberculosis.
I'm not
John
surprised
Green.
that you picked that at all. But tell us more, Lindsay.
Well, okay, so just going along with the theme of the podcast, I don't really like nonfiction. It's not my favorite category. It's not my preferred way to learn reading, a book. That makes no sense. I'm reading a book that is more focused on the research and the history. I just find that really boring. And Magda was like, we got to read this book. And ultimately, one, I'm grateful I finished it because it's hard for me to read this. But two, because I did come away with that being like, I learned something, and I enjoyed parts of it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think for me that was the same way. I really enjoyed his writing and the way that he was putting forward a lot of the research. I like how he kind of puts a thread to the entire story as we're following his story as he's learning about these kids that are suffering from tuberculosis. And just due to the fact that in certain countries, there's not as much infrastructure for healthcare, they're suffering the consequences, yet this is a curable disease. But we haven't really done much to be able to kind of share that richness of our healthcare world into countries that really need that infrastructure. So I love the story. I love the historical facts about it too. I thought it was quite interesting how the disease went through this wave of like coolness factors to like, oh, this is kind of gross throughout history. I loved how the way that he kind of did that storytelling with it.
I find myself referencing information from this book a lot, about how people viewed tuberculosis, about its impact on things like Moulin Rouge and the way that people did their makeup and like, again, the inequity of healthcare and the ways in which we really decide as a society who deserves healthcare and to like apply value to that. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, it is definitely one of those books that when you read it, you're like, but then it's funny because everything is tuberculosis, and like it's funny how you can potentially truly link something else up to tuberculosis. Like everything is connected, and I love how he was able to give that message into the story.
Totally.
It was fun.
Okay, what's your winner of this category?
I'm gonna go with The Perfect Divorce by Jeneva Rose. And this is why I think we were talking about it earlier in the episode. Perfect Marriage for me was one of those books that just gave me so much rage, and I hated the character so much that I'm like, I'm gonna have to go read the book too, because there has to be some redemption. There's no redemption in book 2, but but I did enjoy the story, and I can kind of see where she's heading with it now, and it's giving me like a fresh perspective of like, okay, Magda, just embrace the rageness, see where it's going to take you, trust Jeneva, she's going to take you in this journey. And I am really glad that I've read book 2 because it made me appreciate book 1 significantly better.
I'm so impressed that you kept going on this ride.
It's the feeling of rage. That's kind of what I'm telling you. I think when I'm mad about something, like how you hyperfixate on something that is just like you find...
Yeah.
So like you just hate it so much and you're just like, what is this rage? And you just like, it brings you like a passion into it. From love to hate, there is a fine line between love and hate. So I get it. So anyways, book 2 made me appreciate book 1 a lot more. I'm ready for book 3, which she did not that it's going to be a book 3. Anyways, shout out to Jeneva Rose. You are my author that can create emotions that I didn't even know I had.
It's your frenemy read, yes.
Oh, I love her. All right, our next category is book we're most thankful to have listened to this year. Which one is yours?
Bunny by Mona Awad. I can't give you a summary of what this book is about, really. It's sort of like Heather's, sort of about creative writing, sort of like Frankenstein. I don't know, really hard to put together. But there is a group of sorority girls or sorority type girls that are in this. It's called the Bunnies. And they all speak like this. Their name is Hi Bunny, Hi Bunny. And just listening to their voices in contrast with the main character who we follow, who is sort of outside of their group, and then they briefly adopt her, and then they kind of turn on her. It's just super satisfying.
Okay, all right. I didn't know they were actually speaking like that throughout the book.
Yeah. Yes, Bunny, they are speaking like that.
Ooh, no, that's so creepy.
It's so creepy. It's really good. Margot's Got Money Troubles is also really up there for me, but I had already talked about that book, so
I
go check that one out too. Yes, but yes, Bunny, so
variety, good. Variety. I love it.
What about you, Magda?
This should not be a surprise to anybody, but it's going to be Dungeon Crawler Carl by Magda and Lindsay. This book, and I highly, highly recommend the audiobook narration because it's a very gamer heavy type of, like it relies on a lot of like gamer voicing and activities that go on, and the way that the audiobook translates them with like a lot of the guy that kind of narrates what's happening in the game, it is so perfectly done. It just immerses you as if you were just dropped into a game, like into like a video game, and you have to survive somehow, which is basically what our main character what happens to him. Like aliens come and they're like, okay, aliens are here. In order to survive, you're gonna have to play this game and make it up these multiple levels of hardness. Like each floor is gonna be its own level. You have to be able to survive. And hey, by the way, you're stuck with your ex-girlfriend's cat that is now able to talk. It is ridiculous. Princess Donut, one of my oh my gosh, maybe no, you know what? I'm going to talk about Princess Donut. Maybe she was like one of my favorite characters that I met, but I'm glad that we talk about Bartholomew. But Princess Donut, she is just a stereotypical like royalty cat, I think, that she thinks that she's so smart, but she really is not, and she just gets them into trouble all the time. But then she's able to kind of get her own powers, and just the dynamic between this like fluffy cat that thinks knows it all, but really in reality doesn't know anything, and it just puts Carl into trouble all the time. It is amazing. It's funny. Just like the setup of the game, it just translated so well to the audiobook. I just loved it.
This is on my list for I keep being like, December is my month to read. Apparently 3,000 books that are on my list. They're just up there.
Oh, same. Okay, the next one up is books we're most thankful to have read this year. And I think for me, it's going to be Letter to My Daughter by Maya Angelou. This is my first Maya Angelou book. Essay, poetry, whatever. I had not read her.
Yeah.
And it's honestly one of my favorite books that I've read this year. It is one that truly is as if she's speaking to you and she's telling you about her life stories and what she has learned throughout her life. But it's done in such a way that is advice that is actionable and that anybody can relate to about relationships with other humans. Well, she does tell us about stories as to when, like, you know, she met like Celia Cruz, or she met like these really big, you know, film directors and things, but she puts it in a way that is applicable to everyday life and like truly feels like it's a mom just giving you advice as to how to better carry your life. She also has a few poems in here that I'm like, do I like poetry? And I think I like her poetry. She's just fantastic. And I can't believe, you know, she's just one of those authors that people quote all the time, but you just kind of
not
like
engaging with the work really, or like putting her on a pedestal. Yeah.
And then when I read this, I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand the appeal. She's just incredible. And her voice is so unique, and the way that she comes across, that it is just something that she's her everyday woman that can kind of tell you advice, and you're like, yep, I know exactly what you mean. I just loved her.
It is so exciting too because oftentimes classics, it's sort of hard to tell, like, are they classics because they exist within this like educational canon and they've been put up in this place, and like if you don't like it, it's just because you're stupid and you don't understand it, you know? Like I feel that way about like Hemingway, like Dickens, like, you know, there are just authors where I'm like, I just don't I mean, not Dickens, I love Dickens books, but like Hemingway, for example, I'm like, I just don't connect with this. I don't care about this.
That is, oh my gosh, Lindsay, that is such a beautiful way to do that, because that's why I love this story so much. It felt like it was about me, or like I was personally receiving this and I can use this in my real life. If you go to a lot of the classics, it's just a story that you're reading, but you're just like seeing it from like a bird eye view. You're not really in it. And I feel like she does such a good job at putting you in that headspace as to what she went through and how this is going to apply to you.
And she's that rare, she is part of that classical canon. You know, I know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Everyone reads that in school. But she really does write in a way that you're totally right. That's like, a human wrote this. Exactly. A human that I would want to speak to if I ever met her, you know?
Exactly. Oh, loved it. What about you?
Okay, this is a cheat, but I'm going to talk about it because I have to. Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. So I know, like, I'm really in her wavelength right now because I got talked to her at the Texas Book Festival. I wrote that book for that. But this book for me, I don't know, it felt like a weird convergence, like of a lot of, this is so woo-woo, but like cosmic factors that brought me to this book. Like I started this book and then we went to the National Book Festival and I was like, oh, we saw her speak, and I was like, I've got to pause and really dig into it again, without knowing that a couple months later I would be interviewing her about this book. And it's everything that I love in a book. It's a book about family. It's a book about complicated family dynamics. It's a book about creating art and about metafiction. And on top of that, it's science fiction, which is like one of my, you know, love genres. It just feels like a book that I'm nothing like these characters. I obviously don't have the same experience as Nnedi Okorafor. I come from a very different background, and yet everything about it just like sings to my soul. I love it.
She is one of those that, like, I was just so in awe of the way that she explained her storytelling is like, yeah, like a lot of my books are, I don't want to say autobiographical, but she throws so much of her real life experience into this sci-fi storytelling, and it's just how she writes. And I'm honestly still in awe, and I know we've talked about this in the podcast at length, but the way that her mind works, it is,
right.
I am obsessed with it. And that's not anywhere near how my brain works. But she's just such a, I don't want to even say scattermind, but her brain just works in a way that like, this is where the story is taking me. and I'm just gonna see what my hand writes, and we'll see where the characters are gonna go. And I just find that so fascinating. I love, by the way, you guys, Lindsay, we're gonna be putting up the videos from the interviews for her. You guys should go check it out because Lindsay did such a beautiful job interviewing her, and we got so many good answers as to what her creative process is like and why she ended up writing these stories. It was an amazing behind the scenes look.
She just is such a keen observer of humanity. And I think the thing that you're talking about that I like is really hard to understand is that she's able to, in her mind, draw concepts that don't seem related at all, like AI and robotics and family dynamics and creating art. Like those are not related things. But she finds that thread between those things that you're like, right, of course these things are related because they're all about this search for like creating meaning. And it's incredible. I don't know. Anyway, I love this book.
Yeah, we love it. And you did such a good job interviewing her. Like, oh my gosh, made me fall in love with her.
She was very engaging.
She's great.
Okay, last category, the podcast-related moment that we're most thankful for. Tough.
It's a tough one. I think yours definitely takes the cake, so I think we need to talk about it.
Texas Book Festival.
It was definitely a highlight, I want to call it, of my career.
I know, I agree.
As a book podcaster, I guess it was just one of the highlights of my life. I am going to cherish this particular event for the rest of our lives because we both got to moderate a couple of panels with authors that we admire so much. They're incredibly talented people. And then once you are able to meet them, they're just the nicest, sweetest, smartest, coolest people that we had the privilege to talk to.
And it was interesting because I think we both had people in our lives that came to the Texas Book Festival that are not book people. And it was so cool to see them be like, this space that we've created, this like community that we get to be a part of is so special. They're like, everyone is so nice. Everyone is so happy. It was like such a warm event. And it's like, yeah, it's so cool that we get to play any part in that.
We are just so lucky. This was also the first, we've been doing now the podcast for about a year and a half. And this is like our second time going to the Texas Book Festival. And thinking about the contrast between last year versus this year, I just felt
no kidding.
Like such a big part. We were trying to kind of break into this book community last year. And this year I felt like we were the book, like we were inside the book community.
Yeah.
Like we know so many of amazing book owners, and we know so many of like the book community people that kind of strive to go and attend us and support as many book events as possible around our community, meeting a lot of the vendors, and it was just like a incredible experience. I am so thankful for the organizers, for Hannah, for Michelle, just for kind of organize, and all of the event coordinators and volunteers that helped put this together, because this year, and I know we talked about it in our last episode, but this was one of the busiest ones that I have ever seen. I think there was definitely more than 40,000 people, but it was so well organized. Everybody was having such a great time and nice, which is something that is so hard to see when you have such a large amount of people in one spot. But everybody was just so gracious, and everybody was just happy to be there and learn and be introduced to new authors. It was lovely.
It was great.
It was just one of the best experiences. It was incredible.
Okay, Magda, what's your moment?
I think with this one, I know outside of the Texas Book Festival, as obviously, but I think this year we both also expanded a little bit out of our comfort zone, and we were able to do 2 live shows this year. One of them with Lark and Owl. It's a bookstore located in Georgetown, Texas. They're incredible. Go check them out. We were able to do a live podcast session with them for a book club, and it was for The Gnat and the Moth for Rachel Gillig. Thank you to all of our friends that came out and supported this event. It was our first time doing a live show, so there was a lot of nerves, but it was such an incredible experience to kind of get us ready, honestly, for the Texas Book Festival, which we didn't even know that was a thing. But honestly, it was incredible that we got to do the live shows. And also, shout out to Books by the Bay, which we traveled to Houston to do another live show where we were able to talk to Harriet Ashford, who wrote The Trouble with Love and Coaches, and then talk to the audiobook narrators, Michael and Marie, which was awesome.
I think it's so, neither of you are people who are like come from like a stage background. I wouldn't say that we're performers. I mean, we have things we have to do for our like other job where we have to present and things like that. And that I think is where the nerves came from, is sort of like getting over this idea that like, why would anyone want to listen to me talk or say anything? And I agree with you. Those moments were really special because, one, it was cool to see our friends and like people we met in the book community show up in this great way. And like Books by the Bay and Lark and Owl, just like truly incredible owners of those stores, incredible parts of their community. But then also like introspectively, it was also kind of cool to be like, yeah, my voice does matter. I have things to say. I have thoughts. People want to hear those. Yeah. I don't know.
I agree. Yeah, it was just so lovely. And I think I can kind of see our growth as we are getting more comfortable in those type of spaces, which is kind of cool to see. And that's not something that I'm like, oh, we're getting so much better. No, but I can kind of see it reflected on you. And I hope like you can kind of see that on me as well.
Of course.
That we are getting better. We're getting more comfortable. And these live shows was just such a nice little confidence boost for both of us, honestly.
1,000%.
We did a good job and it was so much fun and I can't wait to do it again next year.
And we're doing something new and you can do new things and there's no timeline for doing new things or learning new things or like, you know, so much of like, I find myself, you know, I did like a writer's workshop this year and we did those live shows. Like, I think in my younger years, I was just like, oh, I have to do this by 20 or I'm too old or 25 or I'm too old. And like, it is so interesting to be like, not really. Like, you just got to do it. There's no like, you know.
There's no cap at learning. And I think you have to be able, and this is like, honestly, a big theme of like when we talk to a lot of authors is you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone because that's truly what's going to allow you to grow a little bit. And this was definitely one for us. Like having to do these live shows is it was a little scary, but it pushed us a little bit out of our comfort zone. But we met so many incredible people and we can't wait to partner again with them in the future.
Yeah, that's the lesson. Just go out there and do it.
Yeah, just do it.
And it's probably going to suck, and that's okay.
Yeah. And like, I mean, just kind of looking back from like our first episode to where we're at now.
I know.
It has changed so much. Like just the entire setup of the podcast. We've talked to people that have given us great advice on things on like what we can do to kind of tweak and things that we can improve. So continue to like reach out to people because having like a fresh perspective or pushing yourself out of the comfort zone is really, I know it sounds so cliche, but like it is for real a way for us to grow.
Shout out to Chris DeRosa from Fixing Famous People who gave us some good advice about our format and like all of our friends and definitely our significant others had lots of thoughts. So
yeah, they do have a lot of, they're a very opinionated bunch for not readers.
They are a very good production staff that keep us in line.
Like, okay. Yeah, my husband is rough, man. He's like, you were nervous here, and there. You should have shut up here. I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, okay, yeah, thank you. You're like, yeah, I wouldn't talk about that. That's not interesting. You're like, okay.
Yep. This thing had intrigued me. Like,
okay.
But it's been an incredible, amazing year. But this is like our last episode for the year.
R.I.P. 2025.
I know. Anything that you're looking forward to in 2026?
I am looking forward to what we can push ourselves to do next.
Yes. I'm a big believer in manifestation now. I don't know. Like manifesting for us was like a real theme of this year.
It really is just like, and it's never going to be the thing that you think it's going to be. That's the other thing that was shocking is like, we were like, we're going to do this thing and it's going to smash. And like, sometimes it didn't. And that's okay because other things came up and it's like, because we were willing to try.
Oh, yeah.
What about you?
I'm excited for BookCon. We are going to go.
Oh my God, I can't believe we didn't say that.
Yeah,
yes.
we got our tickets. Lindsay reserved our tickets because when the tickets went on sale, I was in a meeting at work that I could not skip.
I was sweating.
She managed to get us both tickets because the tickets sold out so quickly.
Crazy.
So thank you, Lindsay, for doing that while I was like the most disengaged in a meeting that I was, and I should have just said like, give me 5 minutes. So I could do this. But anyways, we got tickets. We're gonna be in New York in March. I'm excited to go check out the Read Baddest in person, which I have not been able to see them. That is the mecca for romance bookstores, and I am so excited about that. And then we just have so many incredible adaptations coming out next year. I think we talked about it. I want to see The Odyssey. I want to be able to see People We Meet in Vacation by Emily Henry's coming out. Marco's Got Money Troubles.
Project Hail Mary
is coming. So we're going to be doing a good hurrah about that, we promise. I'm just so excited for all of the adaptations that we are getting next year, because I think for most of them are books that we absolutely love.
Yes.
So I'm excited. Anything else?
No, cheers to 2025.
Yeah.
Thank you to all of the lovely people we know and help support this.
Yeah. And I think let's play out some music. Lindsay's going to insert some band, close out the ceremony.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a wonderful night. Have a happy holidays, guys. Happy New Year. And we'll see you guys next year.
And thank you for listening to Literally Books, the podcast.
Where we say what we mean.
And we mean what we say.
Bye.
Bye.